Good evening, everyone. This is meteorologist Shane Hinton hopping onto our digital platforms in order to give you an update on the coldest conditions of the season so far that we're tracking for you. The time is currently 8:40 on your Sunday evening. I hope you're all staying very warm out there. I know it's rather difficult to do so if you step outside because just look how cold it is across the Lone Star State. We're talking 11 degrees in Amarillo, 14 degrees in Dallas, 21 in Austin, and 25 in San Antonio. Now, that cold front has successfully passed through the area, but it's kind of stalled out over the Gulf of Mexico, and now we have to basically watch for the potential for some moisture to move over that and then bring the potential for some frozen precipitation overnight into the first half of tomorrow. We're mostly talking here the potential for some freezing rain or freezing drizzle. You can see all that Arctic air still built up well to the north. An area of high pressure is going to be moving toward Texas and then really localizing itself over us, and that's going to bring some of our coldest conditions of the season thus far, really for the first half of this upcoming week. We've been showing you the winter weather alerts across the state, but I do want to focus in here locally in central Texas. Just as a reminder, every county is now under a winter weather advisory until noon Monday. The winter weather advisory is due to the fact that we could see some ice accumulation that would be up to about 1/10 of an inch. Most areas will probably get just a few hundredths of an inch, and there is the potential for a few isolated spots to get over 1/10 of an inch, but that right now is not looking like the story for most of us. Now, in addition to the winter weather advisory, we do have a wind chill advisory. This lasts until 10 o'clock Wednesday morning now, and that's because we could see feels-like temperatures or wind chill values as low as 0 degrees. Now, some high-res forecast models have hinted at below 0, so sub-zero feels-like temperatures for some locations. This would most likely favor along and west of I-35, and it would be for the same time frame. Okay, so we're talking dangerously cold feels-like temperatures here. Now, in regard to temperatures on the thermometer, well, they're going to be in the hard freeze territory. You can see almost every single KVUE viewing area county is under a hard freeze warning also until 10 o'clock Wednesday morning. The exceptions are Milam and Mason counties, and this is going to be due to the fact that our overnight lows, our coldest temperatures throughout this spell, are going to be in the teens and lower 20s. Okay, so please, please, please make sure you are protecting the 4 Ps. That's going to be your people, your pets, your pipes, and your plants. What do the temperatures look like right now at 8:42, now going into 8:43 on your Sunday evening? Well, we're talking teens and lower 20s area-wide, 21 degrees to be exact in Austin. Our coldest temperatures right here on the screen are on 16 degrees in Burnett. As we take a look at the current winds and gusts, they're breezy, but they're nowhere near as windy as what we were dealing with at the beginning of this week whenever we had the wind advisory in effect. Thankfully, we're not talking breezier conditions than this because that would just knock our feels-like temperatures even lower. We're talking 21-mile-per-hour gusts stretching from Giddings to Austin, a little calmer out there in the hill country, but because we're still dealing with slightly breezy conditions moving in from the north, look at what it feels like. 2 degrees in Burnett right now. Goodness gracious. 3 degrees is what it feels like in Georgetown. 11 degrees in Austin, 8 degrees out there in the coastal plains. I mean, it is just a bone-chillingly cold night for us. Now, in regard to the winter radar, let's give you a look at this here. This is over the past several hours, or actually the past 1 hour. You can see there's not a lot to talk about, okay? It's very light in nature. In fact, the radar is really having a bit of a difficult time picking it up. You can see a small little blips of pink right there. That's indicating the freezing rain or maybe even freezing drizzle. I have been seeing some reports for kind of like the southern portion of our viewing area starting to get some light freezing drizzle, maybe even seeing a little bit of some freezing mist or fog. What we're dealing with here is that, like I said, we have that cold front. It's now kind of stalled out here towards South Texas and into the Gulf of Mexico. The process that we're going to be looking at now is what we call overrunning, where we have moisture that's moving over this front and then it's moving towards central Texas. Because at the surface, we have a northerly wind, a northeasterly wind that's bringing in that colder air. However, in the upper levels of the atmosphere, we're having that flow from the south that's bringing in moisture from the Gulf, and that's the moisture that could bring some freezing rain and freezing drizzle. But as I mentioned, the radar is fairly quiet. Anything that's happening right now is very light in nature, but temperatures are definitely well below freezing, so we'll have to keep our eyes on it overnight into the first half of your Monday. Now, something we're also monitoring is some reduced visibility and some patchy fog. The reason I want to highlight the patchy fog is because sometimes we have a phenomenon called freezing fog. And as you can imagine, it's because it's fog with temperatures that are below freezing, so it could freeze onto surfaces. Now, whenever you're seeing reduced visibility out there in Giddings down to 3 miles, 4 miles in Fredericksburg, that could be some of that fog out there that could freeze to surfaces. In fact, I did see some reports near the Fredericksburg area, just a couple of miles away from Fredericksburg, that was talking about seeing some light accumulation on cars. Let's walk you through what you can expect for this evening with the Futurecast. The areas of pink are indicating freezing rain. There could be some sleet pellets kind of mixed in here, but I think the main precipitation type we're going to be dealing with is going to be freezing rain. It grows very scattered overnight into Monday morning. If you do have to make a morning commute, please make sure that you are staying weather aware. Download the KVUE News app and track the system with us. We are also going to be monitoring your roadway conditions on KVUE Daybreak starting at 4:30 in the morning. The roadways, I think, could see some minor impacts. The main impacts are going to be your bridges and overpasses, elevated surfaces here. The good news for us is any frozen precipitation moves out to the east by lunchtime, okay? And then we're just going to be left with dry and cold conditions. Anything that did accumulate, it's going to take a little bit to kind of get out of here because it's going to be a cloudy and cold Monday. We get the sunshine back on Tuesday, but I do think our temperatures are still going to stay below freezing, but we could see some wind help to get rid of the ice just a smidge. Let's take a look once again at some of the high resolution forecast model data. This is showing kind of scattered to widespread a few hundredths of an inch for anywhere where it's able to accumulate. Naturally, right there near Austin, you can see 800ths of an inch. That's getting closer to that 1/10 of an inch rule of thumb we're kind of using for the max out period here. You see also some darker shades of pink. This would indicate those isolated locations where we could see more than 1/10 of an inch. The likelihood of this occurring, the trends have been showing, would be along and east of I-35. If you recall, that Futurecast was showing the rain kind of moving out toward the east. That's why we think we could see that accumulation higher for those locations. Overnight tonight, temperatures dropping down into the teens and lower 20s. These are your numbers on the thermometer. It will feel colder than this, okay? Remember, we have that Windchill Advisory in effect. For tomorrow, we are not going to get above freezing. If some isolated locations do, it would probably be up to like 33 degrees and it would be very short. I'm talking maybe an hour or two because it's going to be a cold and cloudy day for us. Gusts up to 30 miles per hour, certainly going to bite, okay? That's going to be very cold for you. We're talking hypothermic conditions with the kind of wind and cold we are dealing with. In fact, let's take a look at the future wind chills together. This is tonight by around 11:30. It could feel like, I mean, it already feels colder than this, right? We have some areas that feel like they're 2 degrees right now. As we go throughout the overnight period, we're going to be dealing with a lot of the same. In fact, by 11:30 tomorrow morning, this is after everyone's kind of woken up and is starting their day, it's still going to feel like it's in the single digits and teens. For the peak heating of the day, it'll feel like it's in the 20s. Our coldest conditions, I think, are going to be on Tuesday mornings and on Wednesday morning. The single digits feels like is what you can expect for Tuesday morning. In fact, some locations, as I mentioned, could feel like they are below zero. When do we warm up? Well, we have to wait until Wednesday for us to have widespread above freezing temperatures. You see that I've got 33 on Tuesday, 32 is the freezing point, but keep in mind, 33, it's going to feel like it's freezing, right? 40s is when it will feel a little bit more pleasant. Take a look at this jump from Wednesday to Thursday. We're talking temperatures getting into the upper 60s, but then that's because we're going to probably see what we call compressional warming. This is when a cold front slides through and it helps to compress the air in front of it, and that heats it up faster. So I think we could see temperatures jump into the upper 60s on Thursday, but just like that roller coaster that we're accustomed to, we fall back into the 40s for the rest of the week as this cold front comes through. Now, this cold front is not as strong as the Arctic cold front that's bringing our cold conditions right now, but it will knock us back down to below average temperatures. This front does, as of now, appear to be dry, so I am not concerned with ice on Friday and Saturday, but it is going to be cold. You'll notice that our next best rain chances will arrive on Sunday. Now, here in the KVUE Weather Center, we are going to continue to monitor each and every update regarding this cold blast, really, that we're now dealing with. We will continue to keep you updated on air, online, on KVUE Plus. You can can also download our KVUE News app and track the system with us so that you can get all alerts directly to your phone if anything else gets issued for your area. Until I see you next time, stay safe and stay warm out there, and we will continue to keep you posted on each and every update.